Hey guys, today we're going to work on the second part of our end of the road perspective pictures that we started last week. All right, what we're going to do today is we're going to go in and add more details. We're going to add other things to our picture that's going to make it look even more 3D. All of the things that we're going to add today are going to have one thing in common. They're all going to disappear at the vanishing point, just like our road did and our lines in our road and the sidewalk that we made. Everything disappeared at the vanishing point. Everything that we're going to add today is going to disappear again at the vanishing point, and that's what's going to make it look really, really 3D. I'm going to show you one way to do it, and then you guys are going to be able to do it however you want. You're going to be able to add the details that you want to add to yours. So let's get started. So here's some of the things we're going to need today to create this project. First thing, the most important thing you're going to need is the drawing that we created last week, the road picture. The next thing you're going to need is you're going to definitely need a pencil. All right, you're going to need a pencil. You're going to need a ruler or a straight edge of some kind if you don't have a ruler. Like I said last time, you can use a book or anything straight. You're going to need something to color. So I have crayons, and I'm also going to use watercolor paint. If you don't have one or you don't have the other, it doesn't matter. As long as you have something to color yours in. Colored pencils will work great for this because you'll probably have some detail. But it's your choice how you're going to color it in. And the last thing that I have is I have a Sharpie marker. I like to outline my stuff when I'm finished in Sharpie marker. I think that it makes it stand out a little more, especially after when we color it. But if you don't have a Sharpie marker at home or you'd rather not do the Sharpie marker step, that's totally okay with me too. If you don't have a Sharpie marker, you can always use like a black pencil or another kind of marker that you have, just something to make your lines kind of pop out. So now we're ready to actually start adding our details to our picture. This is what's going to make our picture look unique to us. Everybody will look a little bit different. Right now, if you look at it, it does look like a road. It looks like a road going off into the distance and disappearing at the vantage point. I'm going to show you a couple things that I'm going to add to mine to make it look even more detailed and more realistic. You can do it exactly like mine if you want, or you can be creative and make yours a little bit different. The one rule that's going to be the same no matter what you choose to do is that everything is going to disappear at this vanishing point. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to draw a house. I'm going to use my ruler. And over here, I'm going to start by drawing a square. All right, if you remember a few weeks ago, we did practice in drawing cubes and spheres and cylinders, all different 3D shapes. I actually made my square a little bit too big. I'm going to take some of it off. That's why it's good to have an eraser. So I'm going to make a square or a rectangle. Either one will work just the same. Again, using my ruler. That way I can get it to look the way I really want it to look. So there is my square. What I'm going to do now is I'm just going to erase that part of the horizon line that's inside of my square, because I don't need that there. You don't need that part because you can't see through your house. Doesn't look like a house yet, though. Let's keep going. We're going to add a triangle on top and make the roof. So add a triangle on the top and make the roof. Now, here's where it starts to look really cool. What you're going to do is, from every corner close to the vanishing point, so you'll have 3 corners close to it. You'll have this one. I'm going to put a little dot there just so you guys can see what I'm talking about. This corner and the point at the top of the roof. What you're going to do now is you're going to take your ruler and you're going to draw straight lines going all the way to your vanishing point. All right, you'll see what I'm talking about as I go. All the way to the vanishing point. Then from the next point, you're going to go all the way to the vanishing point. And then the bottom one, you'll go up to the vanishing point. Now what's going to happen is your picture, it looks kind of like a house getting pulled away. It's too long right now. So to make our house look more realistic, what you're going to do is take your ruler, start at the roof line, slide your ruler up a little bit, and then draw a line that's parallel to this line. So parallel means that it runs side by side and they would never touch if they kept going forever. So one line on your roof here and then one the same direction there. Then from that, the bottom of that parallel line, I'll put a little dot there to kind of see what I'm talking about. You're going to go down a straight line, just like this line, all the way down to here, okay? Just like that. And now we made our house a little bit shorter. What we'll do now is just erase those lines that were going from the end of where the house was all the way to our vanishing point. So that way our house doesn't look that long. And then we'll go ahead and erase that part of the horizon line inside of the house. So now you see that is starting to look like a house. All right? The cool thing is you'll go in now and you can add any details that you want. All right? So you can add a door, you can add windows, you can add some windows on this side too, maybe if you want. Any details that you want, maybe a cool window up at the top. So you're going to add your details to your house and make it look the way you want it to look. All right? The next thing we're going to do is on the other side, I'm going to show you how to make something else that's going to make it look more 3D. We're going to actually add some trees. All right? To this side, what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a guideline going from one corner all the way down to that vanishing point again. Now that's just going to be a guideline. Eventually we're going to erase that. So I didn't want to make it too dark, but I wanted to make it dark enough so you could see. All right, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to draw some trees. The trees are going to start in the foreground. I'm going to start by drawing a tree all the way down here in the foreground. So I'm going to make it start right down by that sidewalk, nice and big, make some branches in it. And I'm going to have that tree end just about at that guideline. It's going to go a little bit above it. That's okay. My tree is actually going to go right off the page, so you're not going to see the end of it. So a nice big tree. Again, I'll erase the horizon line part that's inside, and I can erase that guideline part that's inside of my tree. Next, you're going to draw another tree. This one will be a middle ground tree. So you'll draw a tree. The middle ground tree is going to be smaller than that foreground tree. But it'll go up, and then same thing, end it right about at your guideline. All right, I'm going to erase the part that was in there, and then again, I'll erase the horizon line inside the tree. See how it's starting to look like they're going back, like those trees are lining that street? And then I'll go ahead and draw a background tree. The background tree is going to be the smallest one. It's the furthest away. It has the least amount of details in it because it's further away from you. It's harder to see. And then once you're finished with all those, you can go ahead and erase that guideline, just like you erased those lines over there. And then you can think about whatever you'd want to add far off in the distance. Maybe you want to add some mountains far away. There's some mountains way off. Again, the mountains are far away, so they'll be small. All right? Maybe in front of the mountains, you want to make a little city back there. Draw some buildings really far away. Again, they're going to be very small because they're far away. But you could do this however you want. You could add any details you want, as long as it follows the rule of things that are in the foreground are big, things that are in the background are going to be very small, and anything you do will have an imaginary line kind of disappearing at the vanishing point. All right, so go ahead and start drawing your details. The next thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to go in and with my Sharpie marker, I'm going to start tracing over all of my pencil lines that I want to keep. I'm going to make sure that I don't trace over any of the lines I erased, any of the guidelines. You don't need to trace those with the Sharpie marker. And I don't want to trace any of these points, like my vanishing point. It's just an imaginary dot. You don't need to trace or fill that dot in with your marker or these little dots that I put on the sides of my house. Again, this step, the Sharpie marker step, is an optional step. You don't have to do that. So if you don't have a Sharpie marker or you'd rather not do it, don't worry about doing this part, but I'm going to go ahead and Sharpie it. Now that I'm finished with the Sharpie marker, the last thing I'm going to do before I start adding my color is I'm just going to take an eraser and I'm just going to clean up any spots where I still have guidelines or just any pencil marks that are left over. So you're going to just quickly kind of go through and remove any of those extra pencil spots before you start adding color. All right, now you're ready to roll. Start adding your color. Like I said, I'm going to use crayons and watercolor paint. You guys are welcome to use any other media you want to create color. You can use colored pencils would work really well. Anything that you have at home. And here's a look at my finished picture. Like I said in the beginning, take your time. Everyone's is going to look a little bit different. I don't expect yours to look just like mine. I hope it doesn't look just like mine. I hope it looks just like yours. So take your time. All these steps that we did today in this video is probably going to take longer than one class period. All right, so it's totally okay to not finish this today. I don't expect you to finish this today. This is probably going to be 2 classes. All right, I can't wait to see how yours turns out. Great job.